are listening to Liminal Writing, where Lee and I go on a 10-minute timed writing based on a trigger line, which we just pick up from the universe or the global.
Yeah, this is a fresh one for us. This is a line from the American activist and poet Audre Lorde. And so the line is, which I think is very apropos for these times that we have right now: caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare.
Nice. As usual.
You go first.
Okay. Repeat to self over and over until maybe it will embed in my subconscious and I indulge in self-care. It just seems difficult, this, an alien thought. But I should turn this around. I am lost in this trigger line. So let's repeat it and say it out loud and maybe louder. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is not. These days, I really, really suck at caring for myself. I have not slept well, not eaten well in recent weeks, very much different from how I was a month before. I do not know where to find the will to lift myself from this. Not now, anyway. So maybe I can use this quote as my rope to help pull myself up and let the rest of the words echo into my brain cells, or better
Mm,
yet, into my bloodstream, into every
mm,
cell of my body. Caring for myself is self preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. My
mhm.
writing, my voice, my abilities, my intelligence, my creativity, let all that be supported by this body that I should, I will, I must care for. Let it begin today. So, excuse me as I prepare the bath with warm water and Epsom salts and candlelight and soft music and a tall glass of iced yerba mate. Yeah, that was a struggle, that one. Okay, your
No,
turn.
here's mine. They wrestled us to the ground, dirt smashed in our mouth, the right ear pushed in, chest pressed against gravel, boulders, rocks, big and small. But with noses lifted, our breath shallow, unsteady, the air still moving in and out, each breath a larger, deeper one than the one before, till our muscles, nerves, heart, bones, and guts fortified, rise up again slowly, intentionally, once more with heart and purpose, till we make this the land where we are all free. So
God. It was about the elections, wasn't it?
it is. It is. I think especially for the messages that have been consistent throughout the Republican campaign, especially about LGBT groups and in particular trans people. And so how it's being used up as churn
Mm,
for more hate when
fear.
we can actually,
So fear really in the
yeah,
at the core of people and
mm,
bring them to their side and get the votes.
yeah,
How does it make you feel as a trans man and
mm.
having gone through this whole journey um, of becoming?
it it makes me feel both unsettled and mad.
Mm,
Unsettled because I think their tentacles of hate may not reach me. That is a idealistic point of view because I
yeah.
know that it will, because the messages cross borders, right?
Yes.
And leaps across oceans. And we see it right now, right?
Yeah.
Even here in Canada, you have that message, although it's not as raised up, I think, as in the
Mhm.
US.
Yeah.
But with the incoming administration, I have a feeling that that would really fan
Yeah.
flames of,
Of hate.
either, yeah, of hate or just an indifference from my neighbor, right? So that's
Wow.
not me. And so they take care of their own. I push you off the boat. You're on your own. Right? Mad because why is there a need to put a super spotlight on things that make each of us different?
Mm.
I think we should be celebrated because we bring so much joy. There's so much joy for people because you are standing in your truth now. So you can be who you want to be. You can bring all your gifts because of who you are. And
Mm.
yet it's that same standing in your truth that makes people think that, you know what? No.
Mm.
And in the end, that kind of thinking that if you're different, it's a turn against you because I think ultimately that message goes to you. Like, what is it in you that you don't like or that you're suppressing
Mhm.
that makes you lash out for people who say, this is my truth and these
Mhm.
are my gifts to the world?
Why but that becomes threatening to them
Mhm.
when you come out with your own choice on individuality that is outside of the the kind of frames and boxes that they're conditioned to believe or have chosen to believe even. When you break that, it freaks them out, I guess. There's a sense of threat or fear.
Mhm.
And what these leaders do is the politicians especially is they fan, as you said, your term, I think, is, I like the image of that, it's not like, but I think it's an appropriate
Mhm.
image. It's fanning that kind of flame of fear,
Mhm.
um, and that's how they get themselves into positions of power. And you could see how
Mhm.
overwhelming that that has. I'm at a loss for words, really.
Mhm.
I don't even, yeah, I don't even know how to describe how it feels, but that's why I was asking you how it's making you feel.
Mhm. But
But
I'm not losing my hope.
no, I hear.
No, I'm
I think I just have to have a moment of grief and then taking stock again, because whatever they're up to, it's not like it's a new thing to us. We already know
yeah.
what is out there in terms of the things we fight for. And
Mhm.
I share with you that whole s- fight for rights across the globe,
I
for
know that.
LGBT rights,
Yes.
for women's rights, for gender
Yes.
justice.
Mm.
These are the very things they have very vocally articulated that they're against.
Mm.
And we will overcome that, but it always, like what happened in the Philippines too, when we had a woman leader who would have been a great new leader for the country. Um,
Mm.
People instead chose the son of a former
You're talking
dictator that
about
we fought. Yeah,
Lenny Robredo, right?
and then who wins the popular vote is the son of the former dictator who we fought against in our youth, right? You and me.
Mhm.
And then now with the US elections, you have that
Yeah.
situation.
But they will not stomp it out.
No.
No. They will not stomp out the light. They will not stomp out the joy of who we are, nor will they dim the light. I will not concede
Mhm.
that. So from who we are in our youth, the values that we carried as young activists during our university days, all through our early careers till now, it's a message that I remember from my mom growing up. Always be proud of who you are, where you're coming from, the land that gave you birth, the name that you carry. In all the ways says that we do it differently in our personal lives or in our professional lives, creating that safe space for others, for ourselves and for others to be who we are. Bring all your baskets and kaings of gifts to the world. because they need to eat, and so do we. Yeah.
You know, a song was running through my head while you're speaking. You,
Yeah. Which
you
one?
remember when we used to sing "Bread and Roses"?
Oh, yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
singing that in my, it was
Bread and
just kind of
roses.
humming in my head.
Yeah.
As we go marching,
Marching,
marching
marching,
in the beauty of the day, a
a
million
million
darkened
talking
kitchens,
kitchens,
1,000
thousand
lofts
hopes
gray,
gray.
are touched with all the radiance that the southern sun discloses. For the people hear us singing,
Bread and roses,
bread
bread
and
and
roses.
roses.
Maybe I
Yeah,
think we should sing more. Yeah, Lee and
that
I were
that I
part of
remember.
a protest singing group in the Philippines in our youth. Katatag, and he sang a lot of songs that were original Filipino songs too,
Yeah,
the struggle back home. But we also embraced music from across the seas, from
yeah.
struggles of other countries, a lot from Latin America
Chile.
and the Nueva Canción movement.
Wait, what's the one you used to sing from Chile? Ah,
Which one? A lot. We sang
yes, but
one, El Pueblo Unido, kaya masarap.
oh yeah, that one.
And we translated it in Filipino, in Tagalog.
There's another one too, the one that has Amanda in its name. Too.
From Victor Hara,
Victor Jara. Yeah,
Amanda. So we
mm-mm.
translated it into Filipino. So,
Yeah.
te recuerdo,
Pero,
Amanda.
naalala kita, Amanda,
Yeah,
sa oh,
Tikang Kalsada.
ano.
With
I
that,
agree with you. We should have
but
like a session singing songs from our youth.
so thank you because your articulation is helping me now. I've been really, and especially from yesterday's waking up to the election results in the US and
Yeah.
even before that, I haven't been really taking care of myself well. It's depressing. But as you
Yes.
said, never in my mind, of course, there was never a thought of it's gonna stop us from what we're doing. Never. It
Yeah.
only fires it up, really, right?
Yeah.
But you also then have to think, um, maybe there's certain things we can do differently, right? You and I have had conversations around that. How do we not react in a way that is also divisive? Because that is
Mhm.
what they're doing. They're feeding divisiveness, they're sowing fear so that people are kind of pulled into there's polarization in our work and in how we live life or relate to others. How do we not feed into that? Even if, if they voted differently, maybe, or they espouse beliefs or even statements that we don't agree with. How can I
Mm.
go into that space where I can engage instead of pushing away? How can I not be part of that
Mhm.
spirit?
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to evolve into someone who can bring people together. You and I, in our roles, our strengths have been in getting participation.
Yeah.
How can we bring this talent,
Mm.
capacity, ability, so that it also reaches what we usually say as the other
Mm.
side, and
Yeah.
maybe they are not necessarily on the other side.
Side. Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
There was an article that I picked up from this independent journal called Civil Eats, I think.
Uh-huh.
It's a story around how nature cares for each other. The story was there was a tree that was cut
Uh-huh.
almost close to the ground. So it was
Right.
a stump, right?
Yeah.
And what happened was the tree beside it, its roots reached out to
Roots of
the
that tree.
stump.
Yeah.
And what happened was through giving of water,
Wow.
resources, sugar, the stump covered itself. So
What?
in a way, it wasn't really dead. So it
Yeah.
protected itself. The help came from
From the
another
other
tree.
trees.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's
So that in a way is making me think there is a way for
to
us
nurture others. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be there for
Yeah.
others and to stand with them. It did not diminish how healthy the other
The other
tree.
tree was.
It
Wow.
had something to give, to something that is like them but different, for it to be protected in its healing. Right?
Wow.
So folks who are listening, either if you're the stump right now or the healthy tree, let's all do our part in sharing water, nourishment, sugar, laughter, song, right?
Yeah.
The creative expression that you
Yep.
have,
And
so that
start with
we all
caring for the
heal.
self.
Yeah,
So
it has to be
try
that,
this.
right?
It brought Lee and I to different spaces.
Yeah.
Uh, the trigger line for today's liminal writing session was caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It
Mhm.
is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. From Audre Lorde.
Audrey Lorde.
Thank you very much
All
for
right.
being with
Thank you,
us.
folks.